Hi guys, this is me, Ina Dobrina, and this is my YouTube channel, Ukrainian Refugee. From the last video, I got a lot of comments and a lot of different tips, advices, and you know guys, we have to speak. Let's start. My name is Ina Dobrina. I was born in Ukraine, I grew up there, and when I was 20, I left parents' home and I started to travel. First, it was just a small trip. I went to another city. I went to work as a waiter in Crimea. Crimea, before it was part of Ukraine, worked there as a waiter one summer. Then I earned some money and I was thinking to go to the capital, and I actually did it. I went to Kyiv, I worked there as a waiter. I was working there 1.5 years. And then when I earned a bit more money, I decided that I need to try something else, something bigger, maybe even some megapolis. That's why I went to Moscow. I lived and worked in Moscow 1.5 years as well. I worked there as a waiter. I worked in nice high-class restaurants. And in that restaurants usually came a lot of celebrities, a lot of very rich people, entrepreneurs, and Moscow gave me a lot of opportunities, and I made there not so bad money, to be honest, and that's why I started to travel. First, my trip was to Egypt. I went there with my friend. For that moment, that girl, she worked with me, and we went to Egypt together, and I met there one guy. Now you can see him. His name was Muhammad. And Muhammad, he was from Somali. When I met him, he spoke 5 languages, and I was like, oh my god, this is just crazy, this is just crazy person. How is that possible to speak so many languages? And I look at him, and it was just a dream for me to speak also in many languages, to communicate with different people from different countries, to know better other cultures, mentality. But I was thinking that it's just impossible for me, and it's just possible for some other people who study some other languages more than 20, 40, 50 years. I couldn't even believe that I would speak also in 5 languages in just few years. And then after that trip, it changed something inside in my brain, in my mind, and I just came back home to Moscow. And it was kind of, I felt that I'm ready to finish that period of my life, and I start to dream about something else, about something more, and I was thinking to go somewhere abroad. I just dreamed to go somewhere to Europe, and it just what happened. I decided that I have to go and to try something else, and I chose Barcelona. Here we are, actually Barcelona, it's kind of my hometown now. Sometimes I just come back here, and actually it was first place where I went abroad, I mean to Europe, and it was 2015. I came here to Barcelona first time in my life. I was just excited. I couldn't believe that I'm here. I speak with many different people from different countries, and it was just wondering, and that was nice. But for that moment I started to understand that I spoke English when I lived in Ukraine, in Kyiv, in Moscow, in Russia, but when I lived there I spoke just as a waiter, like what would you like to drink, what would you like to eat, what kind of food do you prefer. But to speak with people just about different topics, my English just terrible. And I started to study. I studied with some teachers, with some courses. For that moment it was no online course or something else. And that's why I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and I found an amazing system how to speak very fast in other languages, and I started to use that. I spent in Barcelona a few months, then it finished my visa. I came back to Ukraine, spent there a few months. Some girls proposed me to come to work there, and I decided I have to be there. I actually went there. It was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe that I'm here in Singapore. It was just wondering. It was kind of fairy tale, and I remember when I came first time to that seaside, Marina Bay Sands. I saw that very famous bridge. I saw there are a lot of hotels and how it blinked that city in the night. And I remember when I cried and I was thinking, oh my God, I did something right, that I'm just here right now. And I was dreaming to live there. And it's actually what happened in a few years. I got the job there. I lived there 1 year. And also I traveled a lot in Asia by hitchhiking, because for that moment I had not enough money. I was young, I was wild, and I wanted to try everything in my life. That's why I traveled there with my ex-boyfriend, and we visited by hitchhiking 3 countries, Malaysia, Thailand and Cambodia. Yeah, we spent 1 month in Thailand. Also we spent 1 month in Cambodia. We spent almost 2 months, and then I went alone to Hong Kong. I was also in Hong Kong few months. I spent there 1 summer. It was 2017. I came back to Moscow and I studied there. I bought there a business course, and it was kind of business school. So this is actually a school built by one very famous entrepreneur. And I studied there. I studied marketing, I started sales, a lot of different things. And after that course, I was thinking to do something what I can do in my trip, in my travel, because I still wanted to see other countries, to know other people, to get to know other cultures, mentality and everything. And I was still hungry to see everything in the world. But it took almost 1 year, because it was a lot of different ideas in my mind, and I couldn't understand how should I earn money with that ideas. And then I traveled already like few years, and I spoke already enough good in English. A lot of my friends already asked me too many times, like, Ina, can you help us to speak fast as you can in that language? Can you teach us also some Italian phrases? Because for that few years I also spent almost 1 year in Italy, and I've studied there Italian, so I speak fluently Italian as well. A lot of people always ask me, how did I learn so fast so many languages? And I start to understand that I'm actually an expert in that area, and I can teach other people how to speak fast in English or other languages. That's why I became a kind of entrepreneur. I created my own course, did a lot of presentation, I found a lot of materials, I did everything, and it took almost 2 months, and I created my own course for Russian spoken people. It were actually people from Russia, Belarus and Ukraine who studied English with me, and who I helped to speak really fast. And it was my course how to speak in English in 30 days. I still could travel, I still could do what I like, with what I really in passion. I could work and I earned some money, and I did it always online. Everything what I need for that moment, it was just my laptop, and I could make money anywhere, and I still could travel. I visited again Malaysia, Singapore, and it was my first trip in Bali. I came to Bali 13th of December 2019, celebrated their New Year Eve. I met there a lot of different people from different countries, British people, Australian, from US, from different countries from Europe, and it was really nice time. And then happened Corona time, and I stuck actually there in Bali, and I spent there 8 months, and all of that time I worked. A lot of people just stuck at home in Russia, in Ukraine. They wanted to improve their skills. Even more people wanted to study English for that moment, because at home it was nothing to do. That's why a lot of people decided to study English. And it was pretty nice time. I made money, I lived in Bali, but it was boring a bit for me because I always moved. For that almost 5 years, since 2015, since I visited first time Barcelona, and 2020 it passed almost 5 years, and I visited more than 30 different countries. I tried too many different works. I always worked and I always made money, but I never came back to work as a waiter again, because to be honest, when I worked in Kyiv and in Moscow, it was nice experience. I've got that skills, but to be honest, I hated that job and it was so hard. I remember when I always felt myself like really bad. I always felt that pain after that war, because actually in our countries, in Ukraine and in Russia, people worked 12, 14, 15, and I remember even when I worked 17 hours per day, it was just crazy. And I was young, that was okay. But now I'm not so young, I'm not 20 anymore, and I cannot work as a waiter. That's why a lot of comments what I got, like here, here, here and here, I cannot work as a waiter, guys. I did that work 4 years ago. I have huge experience. I'm not typical Ukrainian refugee. I worked hard for the last 7 years. I came to Sweden because I help now my family, and I still have a lot of opportunities, and a lot of people still invite me to many different countries, to many different companies. But usually I choose, because people usually choose me. I'm enough good and I know my value, I know who I am, and I'm not gonna work in some cleaning service or in some restaurant or wherever. I really respect that people who do that work, and I know how hard is that. To be honest, I always leave some tips if I stay in some restaurants, but I'm not gonna come back to that job. I really appreciate my time and I don't want to spend that time to just earn some money, because to be honest, under that bag I have a lot of different skills, a lot of baggage what I got for that 7 years what I was traveled when I visited more than 30 plus different countries. When I lived in 18 different countries as well. I spent actually in 18 countries more than 1 month of my life. Sometimes I lived in Italy, that's why I speak fluently Italian. 1 year I lived in Singapore. I also lived a few times for a few months in Malaysia, so that's why I know also pretty good that country. And I spent 2 months in Cambodia and I lived 8 months in Bali. Barcelona is actually kind of my hometown, so I often come back here. I still have my that own course and I still sometimes teach some people how to speak in English and give that word huge value. For this moment, when I'm shooting this video on my new YouTube channel, it has already 2 videos. On the first video it's already 6k views, and in the second video it's already more than 3.5k views. It's just for the last week. Can you imagine, guys, what I can do with some materials, with some video, how good I am with that algorithm? It's not just it happened because I just put that video. No, I work a lot with YouTube, and this is actually my second YouTube channel. I have my first YouTube channel more than 1.5 years, but that YouTube channel where I speak Russian, that's why I decided to create my second YouTube channel. In that my first Russian YouTube channel, I tried a lot of different algorithms, I tried a lot of different systems, and I guess I became kind of an expert in this field. And that's why I can create different YouTube channels. I can help some businesses to grow up faster. I can help some entrepreneurs and their businesses as well. And I guess I can do something more than just drink. Some people just drinks. I'm not saying that it's a bad job, but it was just my past. And I did the job when I was 20. And now I should just go on. Please don't give me your tips if I don't ask you. I really appreciate that people who give me some useful advices, who always try to support me, who always try to support my family and my country. But don't write me, please, you should speak Swedish. I know what I should, and I know what I have to do, because I have huge experience under my back, how I said before. And I know where I go, and I know what are my goals. So I know for sure I'm gonna achieve that. Thank you everybody who write like that, and that. And thank you guys that you support me, my family and my country. I wish everybody of you guys to live in peace. So guys, thanks a lot for watching that video. I hope we became closer to each other, and I know that a lot of you still support me and my family. Thank you very much for watching that video. Subscribe this channel, finger up, and see you later. And of course, in the next video, I'm gonna show you Barcelona.